Welcome to I Hate Everything. Today is a fun day because I wanted to talk about something. I feel like it needs to be, well, it doesn't need to be talked about, but I hate everything and I need to rant, okay? If you don't know me, I have diabetes type 1. I was diagnosed when I was 6. So I know what I'm talking about with this. That being said, I am a bad movie critic and I did not watch the whole movie because it was god-awful. Also, not going to talk about anything other than the diabetic plot in this movie because, well, I don't know if you know this, but I am not a veteran. Oh, never been in the military. Wasn't even, one day, usually they send out letters to be like, hey, we want you in the military, can you come, like, try out? This video is a disaster already. You good, bro? My dog is dying over here. No, I'm just kidding. He's 7. Don't joke about that. That was painful. Usually they send out, like, letters being like, hey, try out for the military. I didn't get one. Like, at all. Like, they were just like, we don't want you, sorry. Which is fine, because I didn't want to be in the military anyway. Today I'm going to be talking about the movie Purple Hearts. Again, not talking about anything related to the main plot, because while her being diabetic is a big part of it, it's not the main plot. So yeah, again, god-awful movie. I hated it. I couldn't, like, usually if I don't like a movie, I'll watch like at least half of it. At least half. Couldn't even make it 10 minutes in. I have a voice recording of me trying to watch the movie and I just paused it after approximately like 15 minutes and was like, I can't do this. Which says a lot. I first want to start off by saying that these people obviously know little to nothing about diabetes. I also want to point out that the woman in the show, Cassie, I think her name's Cassie. I'm gonna Google that, hold on. Cassie got diabetes when she was in her 20s, I believe she is. I believe she's 22 or 20. Which is unheard of. Like, before anyone says, like, because I know people who know nothing about it will be like, but that's impossible because, like, type 1 you're born with. But the thing is that, yes, you are born with type 1 diabetes, but it can develop over a certain amount of time. So, for example, I know people who got diabetes when they were, like, a newborn, 1-year-olds who have gotten diabetes type 1, but I didn't get it until I was 6. She didn't get it until she was 20. And the bus driver I met like 5 years ago, his wife got it when she was like 26. So it's not unheard of. It's a thing. It can happen. So basically the main plot of the movie is that she has diabetes. She got it. She's drowning in medical bills because of course she is, because this is America. She's drowning in medical bills and she finds out that if you are a military wife, you get a good healthcare, I think. And so she has a friend in the military who she said, because at first she's like, I don't need help, I am fine. But she very obviously isn't. Because the thing we kind of open with is that she's low on insulin. If this movie is set in present time, I'm actually surprised she's using the shots and that she doesn't have an insulin pump. If you are unsure if whether I have diabetes or not, I have this cool little thing. It pumps insulin to me regularly. It's a fun little thing. And yeah, so I'm surprised she doesn't have that because it's very common to kind of like maybe use shots for the first maybe couple months and then you switch over to an insulin pump because it's easier to regulate your blood sugar that way. That being said, I have no knowledge of American healthcare, so I don't know if that's the same there as here, but I think that's pretty standard. I think it's actually like really uncommon to still use insulin shots. I use them, but I haven't used them since I was like 8. So she's low on insulin. She goes to the pharmacy. I don't know what, like, this may actually be factual, but from a European standpoint, this pissed me off. Because she goes to the pharmacy, and she tries to take out insulin, And they're like, yeah, sorry, your prescription is being refilled in like 4 or 2 days. I don't remember. 4 or 2. I remember it being on a Friday, I think. And they say, yeah, sorry, we can't like actually give you more because, yeah. Which is also really kind of weird because if you get like one of those little glasses, that should actually be enough for you to survive on. And then she says, I can't go that long. And then she says, okay, well, you can take out, but you need to like pay for it. And I think she has to pay $900 or something. Whatever. Because she needs the quick acting and the long lasting. If you don't know the difference, the long lasting is what you, you take a shot at the start of the day, and then you take a shot at the end of the day, so that you kind of always have insulin going in your body. And then you have quick acting, which you usually take after you have like a meal or something. And she can't afford it, so I don't know what the fuck she does, because they never fucking explain it. But she has one glass. She only uses one glass, which she takes, and then sooner or like later in the movie, you see that she kind of gets high blood sugar, and she's like, fuck, I gotta go like put my insulin, and she does. But you never get like, does she just not eat for 4 days? Does she not use the fast acting one? Like, what the fuck? Does she not have insulin long lasting and fast acting? Because there's a fucking significant difference. You see, if I were to only have fast acting insulin, then that wouldn't really help me keep my blood sugar low, average, what the fuck ever, in the long run. Like, it would help me then and there, but not in the long run. Long lasting would help me in the long run, but then I couldn't eat or drink anything that has sugar in it because I wouldn't have the fast acting, which would help me there. It's a thing. You need both to survive. It doesn't matter. Anyway, I'm from, it's illegal to not give out insulin if you need it. If I went to the pharmacy tomorrow and went, hey, I don't have any more insulin and my prescription isn't refilled, I need insulin, then they would be obligated to give that to me, because you can die without insulin. And on top of that, she says it's only 4 days. No! You can't go more than 4 days without insulin. That's the whole fucking thing. Like, I think you die, or like, you get... The thing is, she's really playing with everything, because she's in the first stages, or what the fuck ever, of her diabetes journey, or what the fuck ever you want to call it. So she would be more prone to get ketoacidosis, which, if you don't know, is like the first stage of you dying. Dumbass. Like, if you go... So let's say she doesn't have money for insulin, so she kind of shortens it. She shortens the usage, and then she gets sick. I got news for you, bitch. Those medical bills would be worse than those $900 you would spend on that fucking insulin. Like, what the fuck? Are you that stupid? And I know that, like, in the first months of, or whatever, of having diabetes, you kind of don't know everything, and what the fuck ever, but you would know that much. Like, I don't know how to explain it to you. Like, one time I got really sick, and if you don't know, everything affects your blood sugar, which I will come back to, but everything affects your blood sugar. I was really stressed one period, my blood sugar went to the fucking moon, and I was admitted 2 days later to the hospital for ketoacidosis. If you don't know what ketoacidosis is, your body is basically just poisoning itself. So her going 4 days with minimum insulin? No, it doesn't happen. It like literally can't happen. What the fuck ever. She finds out that if you marry a military man and become a military wife, you get, good healthcare. She asks her friend who's in the military, like, hey, you want to marry me? This is exactly the point that I stopped watching. Because the guy she ends up marrying is like, fuck you, that's fraud. And they obviously end up getting married. Obviously. And as I have not watched the film, my sister, so gracefully, told me that he ends up in jail, but I don't know anything else other than that, and I don't really care. Only thing I want to talk about in this is diabetes appointment, which is where it comes in. That it does not make any sense. So many parts of the thing doesn't make sense. Like, for example, how they portray high blood sugar. What the fuck are you doing? Like, I'm so, like, there are so many people who are so uneducated about this that it actually makes me mad. Are you aware of how people act when they have high blood sugar? Of course, it's different for everyone, but I think like having high blood sugar is a universal kind of same experience. Low blood sugar is another story. She gets high blood sugar because she hasn't been putting her insulin in her fucking body like a fucking moron. She gets high blood sugar. She gets like dizzy, and everything like echoes, and she has to like wobble to the fucking car to get her insulin. No! The thing is that with high blood sugar, we don't even see how high her blood sugar is. Like, we never see her. We see her checking it, but we never see what it is, which is annoying in itself. But anyway, when you get high blood sugar, what would usually happen is you get headaches, you get nauseous, headaches, you get really thirsty, you gotta pee a lot. And that's like the first stages. Never in my fucking life have I been dizzy from, that's actually not true, but never in my fucking life have I ever had to crawl out to my fucking car being that dizzy. Like, that's not how that works. It's wrong. You're doing this wrong. That's usually how people would act with low blood sugar. And if you had low blood sugar, then guess fucking what? You wouldn't put insulin in your body, which is why I was really fucking confused when I watched that part, because I was like, why are you putting insulin in your body if your blood sugar is like low? Because in my mind, it's like, oh, she has low blood sugar. And you know why I think she had that? Because she was dizzy. This is usually something that would happen with low blood sugar, because you can, like, noises can get distorted, you can get really angry, some people can, like, for example, one time I had low blood sugar, my hand was shaking a lot, so I dropped my water bottle, breaking it, and I almost started crying, because, I don't know how to explain it, but there's just something, like, there's something happening in your brain, I can't explain it. If you're going to make a movie about diabetes, or, like, having diabetic themes in it, do it right. Please. Because this was infuriating to watch, which was why I didn't watch the whole fucking movie. Because it was so annoying. People's brains with, like, for example, cancer or, like, cystic fibrosis. Like, it's been kind of like, okay, if you're gonna do it, you better do it right. Diabetes has never been portrayed in the right way because people don't know shit about it. I know people who are like, oh, if you're diabetic, were you fat when you were little? Like, were you really unhealthy? And it's like, no, I wasn't. But because I got diabetes type 1 and not type 2, which is what everyone fucking knows, everyone's like, oh, so you can't eat cake? And it's like, yeah, I can eat cake, dumbass. It's just that I have to do certain things to be able to eat it. And I feel like it's time to kind of educate people because it's getting fucking annoying having to answer dumbass questions. You don't know how many times when I was little, how many people asked if this was a fucking bomb. I'm passionate about this. So this movie being atrocious wasn't really a surprise, but also it's like a main plot, but it's also like a subplot, if that makes sense. But you still didn't do it fucking right. Also, I have never, like, as a child, not that I really looked for it because, like, I didn't really care in that sense, but, like, I was really happy when I saw Turning Red because a girl had a Dexcom on her arm, which is basically a continuous blood sugar monitor. If you didn't know, those are a thing. I had one and then I broke it. Anyway, and I was really happy seeing that because it's like it was enough so that I saw something I could relate to in a movie. And I think that's really important because diabetes is a really common thing, especially type 1, but type 2 as well, but that's because, you know, people are unhealthy. But point being is that I feel like if you are going to have a illness as a plot in a fucking movie, then do it right. Do your fucking research. Like, it's not that hard. And as I've said, oh, also, add this in. A lot of times when people get low blood sugar, people think they're fucking drunk because it's like the same kind of thing I don't know how to explain it. Mine isn't that bad because I react more to higher blood sugar than lower. But in a country, I don't remember where, but they thought a guy was like really drunk, but he had low blood sugar and he died because they put him in like a holding cell and he died. Which is why I have this where it says diabetes type 1. Everyone. Okay, so if you have a DNR, if you have cystic fibrosis, if you have asthma, if you have diabetes, like it doesn't matter. Get one of these. It's a medical alert bracelet. Also, if you have a really bad like nut allergy, maybe, I think you can also use it for those. If something ever happens to you and you are unresponsive and someone calls 911, they are trained to check for these. Like, you can have them also as necklaces. I did have that, but I stopped using it and I like this more. They're trained to look after these things. And that is really important because it could save your life, or if you have a DNR, not save your life. You get the point. Like, it's really fucking smart to have one. And I also made a TikTok about it, actually.
I recently found out that Ethan Nestor has this bracelet for his severe nut allergy, which is a bracelet you can get and it says what allergy or what illness you have so that paramedics know, which is very helpful. Since I'm diabetic, I decided to buy one.
You can get them really cheap on eBay. I bought mine like a couple of years ago. So, those are really smart. I feel like representation in media needs to be wider. I don't know, we've come like really far, but something I haven't seen that much of is diabetes. When I was in school, a lot of teachers didn't really understand that I can't control my blood sugar. And if you don't know this, oh, this is another thing that I found really weird. In the movie, she has high blood sugar a lot, which is really weird. If you have that high blood sugar, if you have really high blood sugar all the time or really low, go speak to your doctor. Holy fuck. I've seen so many TikToks of this also where people are like, I wake up like 1,000,000 times during the night to like fix my diabetes. And it's like, then you're not doing it right. Because I can sleep through a whole night usually without any problems. Like, you need to take that up with your doctor because you're obviously not doing something right. You're doing something wrong. Anyway, when I like in the movie, her blood sugar is really high, like seemingly most of the time. How is she alive? I have high blood sugar for like a couple of hours and I'm knocked dead like the rest of the day and like sometimes the day after. It depends on how high it was and stuff. That shit is so exhausting. You have no idea. And if you're like, oh, she doesn't have time to be exhausted, like, yeah, that shit would fucking knock you out. It's absolutely horrible, and it makes you so tired. You get really grumpy. It kind of feels like it kind of feels like a hangover. That's how I like to describe it, because that's the best way to describe it. It's like a hangover. The movie was horrendous. It was boring. I didn't care about the main characters at all. I hated them both. It was boring. I didn't like it. I don't like. My sister watched it. She watched the whole thing. And she got really mad as well. Like, she was like, this is so inaccurate representation of, like, the fucking illness. Which is sad, because, again, I feel like we've come really far. We have a lot of inclusivity, but what we're missing is diabetes. Have you ever thought about that, Brenda? No. Movie was horrible. I give it a 2 out of 10. I couldn't even watch 30 minutes of it, which says something in itself. Usually, I'll watch, like, a whole movie, but this time I just couldn't do it. So, this was I Hate Everything. If you want me to watch another movie that you guys found horrendous and scream about it for 15 minutes, then please let me know. I will see you guys another day.